Right? Hey, shalom back again. The title of this video is Greed is Good. That's right, greed is good. And the reason this greed is good is because when you look around you, look all around you, right? We have streets, we have buildings, we have indoor plumbing, we have all these things we really don't need. Global travel, right? We don't need all that to survive. The only thing a human needs to survive, you can live in a cardboard box. Homeless people do it. You can eat whatever food's laying around. So why do we go through such an effort to buy a home, to have a family, to have a wife and a husband, to have children? You don't need any of these things to survive, right? All you need is the bare basics, you know? Like Henry Thoreau talked about it. He lived in a cabin in the woods by himself, I think for 10 years. And he wrote a book about his experience. And there's something to be said for a simple life. There's something to be said for having a simpler life. But you don't need all those things to live. It's greedy, right? It's greedy. It's greedy to want more than what you need. It's greedy to want more than a minimum. Greed is good. And nothing in the world that's worth anything was accomplished without greed. Now, when greed becomes a problem is when people are immoral about the way they do it. In other words, they lie, they steal, they deceive to get more. But getting more in and of itself, wanting more than what you need by itself, is a good thing, because that's the only way you achieve anything great. When you read in the Bible, right, people brought sacrifices to God. That's one of the ways you commune with God. And you also give tithes. In order to give a sacrifice or to give a tithe, you have to have more than what you need. You have to have more than the bare minimum. That's what it means. If you want to give of yourself, whether it's prayer, whether it's tithing, whether it's helping the poor, whether it's all the other things that people do where they give, in order to give, you have to be able to have more than what you need. So when people talk about insurance companies, right? With the whole thing with insurance companies, greedy CEOs, that's what we're saying. We see the economy is getting worse. The economy is going to get worse. It's looking like it's getting worse. It's already getting bad in Japan. It's already getting bad in Canada. Eventually it's going to happen here. It's just we have such a big economy, you know, it's taking a longer time for the air to go out the balloon. Eventually it's going to get really bad here. And you already see who the scapegoats are being set up to be, which is CEOs, right? And what we're doing basically with this whole deleting of the CEO, who had a family, by the way, what we're seeing is a scapegoating of the successful. CEO, if you're a CEO, you're as powerful. Meaning, if you're a CEO of Sony, if you're a CEO of a large company, you have more power and more success than most prime ministers or presidents in the world. You have more access to resources than most prime ministers or presidents in the world. You are in the upper crust, as it were, of society to be a CEO, right? You probably had the best education. You probably had the best upbringing. You probably come from some of the best families, right? That's who you are if you're a CEO. And what we see today is these people are being scapegoated as being greedy, that we should bump them off, which is just the other side of the coin of the French Revolution, where the wealthy in society were blamed for the ills of society. It's just the other side of communism. It's where the elites of society were blamed for everything. And the difference is, in the case of communism, the Tsar really was having a lot of issues. His people were starving. He was causing a lot of people to be killed in World War I. But now, for the most part, people today are more prosperous all around the world than people have ever been in history. That's a fact. People all around the world are more comfortable today. We have more comforts. We have more safety. We have more plenty of everything. Food, housing, transportation, technology that a king in the most prosperous countries 1,000 years ago could only dream of, everybody has access to. So what I'm trying to say is that now, for whatever reason, certain elites are targeting other elites. Certain people mostly on the left, anti-capitalists, are targeting CEOs for deletion, literally deletion. And they're painting these CEOs as evil, greedy, wicked people, and somehow something wrong. And they're choosing to go after healthcare first, because healthcare, everyone understands the healthcare system is broken. And the rules are set by the government. The government sets the healthcare rules. And healthcare companies, insurance companies, simply work within the framework that the government sets. Now, it's a nature of business. You have to make money or you go out of business. In order to provide value, you have to have value to give, just like what I said. In order to give somebody something, you have to have more than what you need. In order for the insurance company to be able to give a claim or fill a claim, they have to have extra. They have to have more than what the company needs to go on. And the idea is, well, they're taking too much. They're taking too much. They're greedy. And I'm saying, what I say to that is, no, that's the purpose of a company. The purpose of a company is to make money first. Make money for the company, make money for the investors and the shareholders, and to pay everybody who works for that company. That's their first obligation, right? The second obligation is to provide the service that they have to provide. First, they owe the investors. Then they owe the employees and everybody that works, including the CEO. Because without them, there would be no money. And then they owe the customers. The customer, I'm not saying the customer comes last, but the customer, in order to have a service, first you have to have the investors and the employees paid off. Then we can talk about a service. So the profits, yes, the profits for the company has to come first before even the customer. Yes, that doesn't mean it's either or, because a company that can't pay its shareholders, a company that can't pay its investors, a company that can't pay its employees cannot provide a service for the customer anyway. So anyway, to wrap it all up, this whole attack that we see on CEOs is just another way of pushing communism. It's just another ploy to push communism. That's all it is. And the end result is going to be the same thing what we saw with communism. What happens is we're going to remove a willing system where people willingly pay a company, whatever means. Maybe they have through their employer, whatever. There's a certain willingness there. There's a choice. In any case, even if you work for a certain employer, and this is the insurance they provide, regardless, there's a choice that you chose to work for that employer. There's a choice that you signed up for that insurance. You can opt out of that insurance. You can get your own insurance. There's a choice. Versus the only alternative is a government system where the government mandates you have to use this, and you don't have a choice. And usually that's the choice. And all this stuff talking about greed is good. Greed is good. Without greed, you don't have any sort of excess that you can give and help others. Shalom, shalom. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and click on this video what YouTube thinks that you'll like.